confession to make. And my confession is that I kind of broke one of the COVID rules yesterday, which I'll tell you about. But I've also thought about how you can do what I had hoped to do, but do it without, just making sure that's quiet. Yep, good. Do it without actually breaking the official rules. So here's what happened, and this is going out to YouTube and Twitch. So you young guys on Twitch, this is going to be good for you, and also YouTube, building resilience, and it's related to building resilience because what I did made someone feel awesome and made me happy, but we need to do it virtually. So we're going to talk about how to hug your grandma because she needs it and it will make you feel happy. Hey, Elizabeth, good to see you there. I've got my things working now. I've got my chat working. I've got my Facebook screen up and my Twitch screen up. So we're getting all technical here. So here's the thing. As a favour to a friend who is overseas, I checked on his mum and he said she needed her bed railing fixed up. And so I took Dad with me just because he's a bit handy to see whether we could fix it. So we go to this old folks place, like it's a retirement village, and we pull in. As soon as we get out of the car, Dad starts sneezing like, hello, COVID. No, we're not sick, but it must have been the pollens or something from these old people flowers, old people's bushes around their individual units. My dad doesn't just sneeze. He's like an elephant. It's big, it's loud, and it's long. And yes, he covers up. But I don't know about you, but I mean, it was just, and I'm like, Dad, you can't do that. Shh, you can't do it. He said, I can't help it. It's the flowers. And then he pulls out his great big men's hanky, which is like a tablecloth, and he's, I tell you what, it was like one of those Western movies when the bad guy rides into town, like people peeking through their plastic Venetian blinds, pulling back in horror, and doors slamming, and people sweeping children off the street. Well, there's no children; it's an old folks' place. There wasn't anybody, just a few tradies. But there's that, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we're going into the unit of a 92-year-old lady, one of my very good friends' mothers. The last thing I want is to have her end up in hospital because Dad sneezed on her. So anyway, so we knock on the door. She answers. I pull back and I say, hi, hi, June. Where's your bathroom? So we darted around into her bathroom, soap and water, not just sanitizer, soap and water. And both of us, there's this tiny one better. And as we go in, she's, oh, I'm so grateful that you've come. And honestly, she was so sweet. And she lives on her own. And I said, well, we can't shake hands. She goes, no, I know. And I said, oh, I would love to just hug you and give you a cuddle. And she's tiny. She looked up at me and she said, oh, I'd love a cuddle. I don't see many people. I broke the rules. I dropped my bag and I put my arms around. Okay, I moved my face so it was past it. I don't have any germs. I haven't been sick all winter. We're fine. But I wrapped my arms around her and I held her and I held her for a long time, and she clung to me. And I felt that warmth go into her. And it wasn't just a greeting hug. It was an embrace that just went on and on. It was like feeling strength coming into me, but coming into her as well. And she's this little old lady, little 92-year-old lady, and she was just beautiful. And my point is that your grandies need hugs. And I know that they're isolated and many of them live on their own, but what you can do is give them, I want to encourage you today, get in touch with your granddad, with your grandma, and especially your young ones on Twitch. You're in the technology and they're not. Go and dust off the cobwebs of your Facebook account where the old people are. Get in touch with grandma or granddad, and they might be people who are not used to saying they love you. Or I know Justin's family, my husband's family, they're not sort of into the soppy stuff so much, and they don't always, go saying, oh, I love you and all that sort of stuff, but they do love us, and we love them. And his dad is someone, I just hug him every time. He used to lift me off the ground. I think I was the only one of all these girls that sort of went in for that, but that's okay, and I just make people hug me. I just do it. My daughter tells me I'm not allowed to do that because you need their permission. I'm like, So old people need cuddles. They need physical contact. And your grandma, your granddad, you're the light of their life. You're that future generation. You're anyway, I'm raving now, but I want to encourage you, particularly if you're in that Gen Z millennial sort of generation. Get in touch with your grandies. Get in touch with them. Well, I don't know, you call them Nana, you call them Poppy, whatever you call them, and just we'll do the virtual hug. Say, Grandma, I know you're on your own. I just was thinking of you, and I just want to give you a hug. Just do this. Put your arms around yourself, Grandma. She will. Granddad, he'll go, oh, but he will. And hold yourself in the lens and look deep into the lens and just say, Grandma, I love you, and this is my hug for you. Feel it. Can you feel it? Put your arms around. Can you do it now with me? So practice. Squeeze. And this can be my hug to you, but do this for your grandies. Hugs. And just say, Grandma, do you feel that? Granddad, do you feel the strength in my arms around you? They will, They might not say much about it, but they're going to love it. And what you're doing is you're pouring strength and love into them, building their resilience, and it's going to make you happier. And that's going to strengthen your resilience. So hugs. Oh, so good. So good. Whether you need it or not, do it anyway, because on some level, everybody needs it. And old people, especially on their own, need that physical contact. And the next best thing is to do it virtually. And the fact that you've made the effort, this is not just one of those old lady hello kisses. Oh my, how you've grown. Not one of them. This is that full-on hug. And you might actually, if you're not used to it, you might feel more comfortable doing it virtually, and then you'll be ready to do it in person when you're allowed to. It's going to make the world of difference to the people in your life who are on their own and isolated and old. And you've invested in them, you've given to them freely, and you'd be surprised at what that invests in you. So that's just what I wanted to share with you today. Please don't dob me in so I get fined for hugging an old person. And Jonathan, if she gets sick, it wasn't me. So good. All right, bless you heaps, and see you next time. Get quicker at this, finding these buttons.